World 250cc Motocross Championship. Round one kicks off at Talavera here in Spain. New men, new machines for the 94 season. The defending World Motocross Champion 250cc series, that is. Greg ALBERTIJN, the South African, riding number one on the Suzuki. The Biffy Johnson Suzuki, a changing machine from Hondas of last year as the gate drops on heat one. Into that top right hand corner, and it is the Belgium. Number two, riding this year the JHK Silkeling sponsored Kawasaki, Stefan EVERTS. There's ALBERTIJN. DEMARIA, the Frenchman, Yves DEMARIA, riding the Pepsi Cola Honda, coming up from the 125 ranks of 93 to the 250 ranks of 94. He was back there in third. But it's ALBERTIJN now chasing EVERTS. And EVERTS, there is DEMARIA. EVERTS tipped possibly to win his first World 250 Championship for this year, but I'm sure this man, the South African, 21-year-old Greg ALBERTIJN, has other ideas about that. There's DEMARIA, number 80. Finished second in the 125 ranks last year. Marnicq BERVOETS this year with the Johnson's BFE Suzuki team. But it's JHK mounted Silkeling Kawasaki man, Stefan EVERTS, the Belgium, that leads heat one, round one of this 250 series. ALBERTIJN second. It's DEMARIA, number 80, the Frenchman from southern France, third. Then number three, a former 250 world champion, the American, Donny SCHMIT, riding Chesterfield Yamaha for 94. Marnicq BERVOETS, number five. Then it's Kurt NICHOLL. Rode the 250 series for the first time last year, finished fourth in the championship, riding with the Castrol Hondas for this year. And Michele Fanton, number 13, goes through on the inside. Well, it's lucky for some and certainly unlucky for him at the moment. ALBERTIJN now makes a challenge for the lead. ALBERTIJN goes into the lead and EVERTS begins to drop back. The South African defending champion already stamping his authority, and DEMARIA goes up into second. We've lost EVERTS and we suspect and hear that he's having a problem with the wheels. A rear wheel breakup on the Kawasaki causing EVERTS to drop back. BERVOETS coming through now, he's up a place. Checkered flag then for the defending champ ALBERTIJN. He wins race one. Then DEMARIA, the Frenchman, and Donny SCHMIT, the American, finished third. Well, there's ALBERTIJN. First race underway. He leads the championship so far. Heat two on the line. The gate drops. Here they go. Can ALBERTIJN do it again? Stefan EVERTS dropped out of heat one with a broken rear wheel. Well, that's hard luck, but it's SCHMIT that goes into the lead from ALBERTIJN and EVERTS. Donny SCHMIT out on Chesterfield Yamaha, the new colour scheme for 1994. As the rest of the pack comes screaming through, we've got a faller somewhere. The flags are being shown, but SCHMIT happily away in the lead. ALBERTIJN and EVERTS, 1, 2 and 3, and EVERTS not scoring points so far. DEMARIA back there in fourth, but look at ALBERTIJN in a determined mood. 20 points already to his credit in this opening round, looking for a back-to-back win, but I'm sure Stefan EVERTS has something to say about that. Donny SCHMIT, number 3, a former 125 and 250cc World Motocross champion. So is ALBERTIJN. EVERTS only winning a 125 so far. That's Andre Bartolini. He's got DEMARIA right behind him. Bartolini, teammate to SCHMIT for 94. And the battle is raging royale. Look at EVERTS in a very determined mood. He wants to win this one if he can. But ALBERTIJN on the Johnson's BFE Suzuki on the pace, chasing Donny SCHMIT on the Yamaha. Down the hill comes SCHMIT again. Fast, exciting circuit here in Spain. Big crowd turned out to enjoy this motocross racing. ALBERTIJN still there in second. We're looking back for EVERTS. And he appears to have gone with a mechanical problem, but it's a win then for Donny SCHMIT, the American. Second for the Frenchman, Yves DEMARIA. And third for Andre Bartolini. And is it fourth for ALBERTIJN? Yes. Fifth then for Trampus Parker.
Donny SCHMIT, are you happy with that one?
Yeah, I had a good start. That's the way I planned it. First moto, I ran a little hard into the corner and I missed the corner, and this time I wasn't going to miss it. And I actually did go past it a hair, but I got on some good dirt and had enough traction to come out in front, so it's a tough race. It was tough.
Yeah, there was three of you on the same pace, very little to choose, but you kept cool.
Yeah, it was. I just figured, you know, I'll keep going at this pace. If they catch me, it's one thing, but to pass me is another thing, so.
Congratulations, Donny SCHMIT.
Thanks.
Nordamericano Donny SCHMIT.
Round two of the 250 Championship moves to Valkenswaard here in Holland. And from the hard tracks of Spain, we are here in the soft sand of Holland. And what can you say except this should be a good track for the Belgian riders. And into the lead goes BERVOETS and De Wit. Two of those Belgian riders, joined now by number 2, Stefan EVERTS. Very, very deep, energy-sapping stuff, that. Donny SCHMIT going through. There's Werner De Wit, number 7, the third of the Johnson's BFE team members, but it is the JHK man himself. 21-year-old Stefan EVERTS, the Belgian. Absolutely mastering the first race. No one got within looking distance of him. He came home to finish first. BERVOETS it was that came home in second, and he was followed home by his teammate, Werner De Wit. Belgium 1, 2 and 3 in race 1. Here's race 2 as they get underway. Massive crowd have turned out to enjoy this motocross racing. Into the first set of jumps, and it is once again race 1 winner Stefan EVERTS going for a back-to-back. De Wit this time, he finished third first time out. He's looking over his shoulder, and it is ALBERTIJN, then DEMARIA. But it is this man that dominates. Stefan EVERTS, son of former world motocross champion Harry EVERTS, and really it's a family tradition. South African Greg ALBERTIJN, the defending champion, having to contend with the deep sand, and contend he does. 7, De Wit, he finished third. There's Yoki Carlson, that's teammate to this man, the JHK Kawasaki rider, Stefan EVERTS, number 2. He leads the race. And he continued to lead without any challenge whatsoever from any other rider. He came home to take another 20 points. Back-to-back, that's 40 points. And that's his first score in the championship title. Second man home, his teammate Yogi Carlson, and Greg ALBERTIJN finished third. Round 3 moves across the borders to Italy here, and Donny SCHMIT currently leading the World Championship, but Stefan EVERTS enabling himself with his back-to-back win in Holland the week before is now 5th in the championship. There he is, number 2, the JHK Kawasaki Silklin sponsored runner. 79, Andre Bartolini, teammate to that man, number 3, the American Donny SCHMIT. Green flag is up, race 1 gets underway. Here it is, round 3. And it looked like SCHMIT who got the whole shot. Yes, indeed. The championship leader at the moment gets away in front. We're looking back behind him, and that's EVERTS. Stefan EVERTS desperately wanting to score major points. Then it's BERVOETS and ALBERTIJN. Then De Wit was there as well. So the Belgians running well here in Italy. But it's now EVERTS that has gone to the front. SCHMIT dropping back to 3rd. That's ALBERTIJN to 2nd, and the battle is most certainly on. Stefan EVERTS trying to repeat his performance in the previous round in Holland, where he won both races. He's out in front in this first one. ALBERTIJN unable to do anything about the speed of the Belgium in front. Robbie Herring, that's the British rider, number 12, going through on the Kawasaki. That's Bolle, the young Frenchman, number 14. Then Talon Volan, number 8. Then SCHMIT. SCHMIT dropping back. Then it's Bartolini, and then DEMARIA, 77, the Frenchman. But Stefan EVERTS stamping his authority all over this one. ALBERTIJN unable to close down on him. And a former South African resident here, the British rider Robbie Herring. EVERTS unstoppable in the lead, squares off the corner. ALBERTIJN comes around on the Suzuki, he squares it off. Then it's Herring. Kawasaki's 1 and 3 at the moment, with a Suzuki sandwiched in the middle. The big hill they come, but it is Stefan EVERTS that heads up the hill. He heads heat 1. ALBERTIJN chasing hard. Then it's Herring. This is a good ride from the British rider Robbie Herring. Then it's Bolle, number 14. He's got the American Talon Volan and his teammate DEMARIA behind him, both riding the Pepsi-Cola Hondas. But it's a checkered flag and 20 points then for Stefan EVERTS. Behind him in 2nd place, it's Greg ALBERTIJN. And 3rd, a good result for the British rider, that's Herring. Then it's Bolle, then Voland, and then DEMARIA.
Salutiamo con un grossissimo applauso Stefan EVERTS!
Heat 2 on the line, here they come. Can EVERTS do another 2020 back-to-back as he did the week before? Oh, somebody's gone down to see who it was. But that looks like Bartolini that's got the whole shot. Indeed it is, it's ALBERTIJN behind him. And look at the mechanics cheering him on. 79, Andre Bartolini. There's Volan behind EVERTS, there's SCHMIT, BERVOETS, then it's Bolle, then Herring, then De Wit. And then it's Parker, number 6, Trampus Parker on the KTM. And it looks very much like EVERTS has gone into the lead, indeed he has. Well, this is breathtaking stuff. Stefan EVERTS most certainly looking for maximum points, and Greg ALBERTIJN and SCHMIT, 2 of our top championship contenders at the moment, unable to stop him. There is SCHMIT, watching his championship lead whittled away by this man, number 2, the Belgian Stefan EVERTS. If he wins this, that'll be a maximum of 80 points in 2 events. ALBERTIJN going through. The battle is certainly on. He's got Herring behind him, finishing 3rd in race 1, Robbie Herring. But it is Stefan EVERTS. 2020, 40 points. That's 2 in a row. Talon Volan 2nd. Then it's ALBERTIJN for 3rd. Round 4 then from Austria, Swanenstadt, and it's quite wet and sticky here today. There's Donny SCHMIT. Led the championship for the first 2 rounds, but after round 3, with the impressive wins, back-to-back wins from Stefan EVERTS, that championship lead now whittled away. Into that first corner they go, and it was SCHMIT up the hill, and you can see the conditions are absolutely treacherous. Overnight rain has turned the circuit into an absolute quagmire. It's so difficult. There is Stefan EVERTS chasing Trampus Parker, number 6. And around the outside goes DeMaria, the Frenchman. Talon Voland there with him, number 8. And it really is just a question of finding grip. There's Kurt Nicholl going up the hill, passing ALBERTIJN. But SCHMIT, the American, now very much accustomed to riding on just about any kind of circuit. Trampus Parker, number 6, on the KTM. Then it's DeWitt, behind DeWitt. Well, we really couldn't tell, but that was EVERTS going through. Then Pouzar, number 10. Then it was DeMaria, but SCHMIT, number 3, going for a pull-off on his goggles, a roll-off system. Trampus Parker chasing hard in second. DeWitt with EVERTS right on his tail. It's just a question of finding some grip more than anything else. Talon Voland behind this group, but there is SCHMIT once again, number 3. Trampus Parker, the American, now resides in Italy. I'm very happy to do so. There's EVERTS just gone through. DeWitt behind him. And Pouzar, number 10, a change of machines for 1994 on Kawasaki. SCHMIT heads heat 1. Circuit conditions beginning to dry just a little bit, making grip a little bit easier to get. Parker, well, he's no stranger to riding in wet, sticky conditions, and certainly no stranger to KTMs. He goes around the bottom corner as we look back for third place man, and here he is. Very gingerly finds a bit of grip in that berm. Stefan EVERTS, the Belgian, obviously more happy in the deep sand than he is here in the deep mud. But Austria, renowned for its unpredictable weather conditions, as SCHMIT takes the checkered flag, 20 points, and heat 1. Second, the Italian-American, as we should now call him, Trampus Parker, number 6, on the KTM. And the Belgian, third, it's Stefan EVERTS, number 2.
Präsident Dr. Wolfgang Schrupp überreicht den Pokal und ein Karte. "15-second board spins around here in Austria, and the gate will drop. Here it does. It's round 4. SCHMIT won the opening race. Can he do the same in race 2? The sun has come out. It has dried off considerably, and we've got, that's Paul Malin, 21, up the banking, but it's Marnicq, BERVOETS, the Belgian rider. Then it is Kurt Nicholl. Then the Frenchman, DeMaria. Then Stefan EVERTS. Herring is there as well as they settle down. He's chasing SCHMIT at the moment, but Marnicq, BERVOETS, number 5, heads this heat 2. Nicholl up into second. DeMaria third. It is 4th then for Stefan EVERTS, chasing those 2 in front. Castrol Honda versus Pepsi-Cola Honda. And here comes a JHK Kawasaki. But BERVOETS on the Biffy Johnson Suzuki, not giving up that lead at all. And EVERTS goes to second. Nicholl to third, DeMaria to 4th, SCHMIT to 5th. 6 for Robbie Herring. Some early good results from the British rider, but BERVOETS absolutely reveling in these conditions, and it's very tricky, as you can see, in and out of the ruts. And EVERTS looking very much a potential winner in this second heat as he closes on BERVOETS. SCHMIT goes through. Still got there Herring behind him. Herring takes the outside line. SCHMIT takes the inside line. But it's BERVOETS, and just look at EVERTS.
It's woken him up. The track's dried out, and Everts is on the gas. NICHOLL chasing DeMaria, Herring chasing NICHOLL, the two Brits. Then it's Schmidt behind Herring. There is ALBERTIJN. Not a good race for Albie at the moment, the defending champion. Here they come. Up the hill for BERVOETS. Round the corners. Can he hold off the attention to... Oh! And a block pass on BERVOETS by Stefan EVERTS. And BERVOETS didn't see that coming. Well, that puts paid to BERVOETS' lead. Herring coming through. Oh, very nearly there. Schmidt on ALBERTIJN, and Schmidt gets the drive. Takes ALBERTIJN's place. But it is Stefan EVERTS that heads for the checkered flag and a win in Heat 2. Then it's Marnicq BERVOETS. He held on to second. Third for the Frenchman DeMaria. Then it was Herring in fourth. Round 5 then here in France gets underway. And it is Everts that leads the championship into this round with ALBERTIJN second, Schmidt third, and BERVOETS fourth. And just listen to the crowd. That is Greg ALBERTIJN that leads, and the French will go absolutely wild here. In particular, if DeMaria can get the lead, and he's second at the moment. Number 80, Yves DEMARIA, Kurt NICHOLL is third. And the French absolutely fanatical about their motocross. That is, oh well, look at this, Phantom. That was Stefan EVERTS with an extremely second-hand looking bike. He's obviously tangled with somebody. And the question now is who? Well, that was Talon Voland that he was shaking his fist at. So one can only assume that Voland was the perpetrator of that badly broken Kawasaki of Everts. Well, we shall see what happens in Heat 2. Heat 1 then, led by this man, the South African, Greg ALBERTIJN. DeMaria, currently 5th in the world standings, chasing in 2nd place. Then it's NICHOLL, number 4, the Castrol Honda rider from Great Britain. Then Schmidt, he's 3rd in the championship. Paul Malin, 21, files through. There's Trampus Parker. He prefers the wet conditions. But it's ALBERTIJN, and look at the French. They are urging DeMaria on to greater things. Can he catch ALBERTIJN, the South African? Can he take the race win in front of his home crowd? That's the question that we all ask. NICHOLL going through. Schmidt right behind him, number 3 on the Chesterfield Yamaha. Trying to defend that championship position, but there's ALBERTIJN. He is currently behind Everts in the championship. Everts going to be a non-finisher in this one. And DeMaria trying just about everything, squeezing every inch of power there is from that Pepsi-Cola Honda. The Castrol Honda here of the British rider, number 4, Kurt NICHOLL. But it is unstoppable ALBERTIJN. He has the lead in Heat 1. DeMaria can only look in wonder at the back wheel of the South African as he clears off around the French circuit here. ALBERTIJN in a determined mood. He wants the championship lead. Everts is out from this one, going to score no points whatsoever. But ALBERTIJN on course for 20. DeMaria on course for 17. NICHOLL, 3rd. He's on course for the 15 points.
That will help his championship standings. Circuit conditions quite dry now. Albertijn comes around. But just look at the crowd, they are going wild. Fanatical Frenchmen cheering on their hero. They've not seen the likes of this since the great motocross champion Jean-Michel Bayle, a 125 and 250 world motocross champion. Went to America and showed the Americans how it should be done. And there's no reason to believe that DeMaria probably won't follow in his footsteps. DeMaria, 80, the Frenchman. Hails from southern France, but it's going to be a checkered flag then for Albertijn. He takes the 20 points. The gate drops for race 2. Donny SCHMIT was the boy that whole shot in the race. He had a 4th in race 1 and certainly looking to improve his position in race 2. But it wasn't to have it all his own way to start off with. They were climbing all over him in the first few corners and places were changed. He went back to 3rd at one stage. That was Trampus Parker that headed the field away. He passed SCHMIT and SCHMIT dropped back to 3rd. So it's the KTM rider, the American, Italian as we now call him, Trampus Parker number 6 that heads race 2. Everts back there in 4th at the moment. There is Parker. There is SCHMIT now up into 2nd. Paul Malin it is, number 21, just dropping back to 4th. There's Albertijn, winner of Heat 1. And SCHMIT pressurising his fellow American as he tries for the lead. And does he do it? No. Parker finds the extra little bit of drive, but this really is 100% effort from Donny SCHMIT, and he finds it. He cannons off the berm, gets that extra bit of drive and passes Parker for first place. So it's Donny SCHMIT, number 3, leading Heat 2. But where is DeMaria? Look at the crowd and they'll give you an indication. Must be back there in about 4th behind Stefan EVERTS. Number 80, DeMaria, he's got the current world champion Albertijn right on his back wheel. But Yves DEMARIA, coming from the 125 ranks of last year into the 250s and really is giving all the main contenders a run for the money. Stefan EVERTS goes up a place, Parker drops back. That is DeMaria and Albertijn right behind Parker, but it is SCHMIT that has the legs on the rest. EVERTS, no score in race 1 when he tangled with Talon Volan. But look at this. They're all climbing all over Trampus Parker. DeMaria, Albertijn, and EVERTS will begin. And now DeMaria goes to the inside line. Parker gets the drive up the hill. This is where SCHMIT took him. No, this time Parker hangs on. But Albertijn and DeMaria giving Trampus Parker a nightmare of a ride. The KTM man, the Italian American, has been in Europe for so many years, well, we can't remember for how long now. But SCHMIT, he's been around, I would say around 9 years now, about the same time as Bob Moore. And a former 125, 250 world champion, and it's squeezing time because Albertijn tried to get on the inside of EVERTS there, and EVERTS shut the door. Aha, you're not coming through here, he says. He needs to score points. SCHMIT being urged on by his team members, and Albertijn still cannot find a way past Stefan EVERTS. EVERTS riding for just about everything he's worth. Parker, then it's DeMaria, and DeMaria is still unable to get past the KTM rider. But SCHMIT settles down to a pace at the front, and Albertijn now up to 2nd, EVERTS 3rd, Parker 4th, DeMaria 5th. And Trampus Parker, he's having a superb ride. The French crowd just a little subdued now as their hero unable to get through, but a wave to the crowd as the American Donny SCHMIT comes round and takes the win.
Round 6 moved across to Poland and Gdansk. Beautiful weather conditions and a beautiful circuit. The alterations that the riders requested at the start of the first race, which was won by Greg ALBERTIJN. Stefan EVERTS chased him home second. Yogi Carlson, Kurt NICHOLL and Werner de Wit finished in the top 5. Race 2 then came to the line as the 5-second board went up. And could ALBERTIJN win another and make it a back-to-back win? EVERTS, the only person so far to have done it twice in a row. They got into that first corner and confusion all over the circuit. And there was ALBERTIJN. Well, he wasn't going to make it a race win, so he's this time. There's NICHOLL, there's BERVOETS, number 5. But it was Paul Cooper, the South African, with EVERTS and Parker. Donny SCHMIT going through. Michele Fanton, one of that group. There's Robbie Herring, and there is ALBERTIJN. But Cooper knocked back off the pace by EVERTS, the South African. Paul Cooper, the British National 125 champion. There's SCHMIT, Carlson, Puzar and de Wit, and there's ALBERTIJN. He's got a lot to do. He won the opening moto. EVERTS now in the lead, wants to fight back and take a win here in Poland in the second race. Cooper, this is one of his best rides so far. SCHMIT, then it's Carlson, then Puzar, then de Wit. Parker, and then it's ALBERTIJN, Herring, Fanton. But EVERTS, there was no stopping him in race 2. Up and away he went so far. SCHMIT chasing Cooper. Carlson. A battle for the positions. There's ALBERTIJN. A tremendous charge through the pack. Stefan EVERTS still in the lead. Untouchable at the moment. Settling down to his pace here in Poland. And being urged on there, that's Donny SCHMIT. Number 3 on the Chesterfield Yamaha. SCHMIT, an early leader of the championship. There's ALBERTIJN. He really is on the gas. Closing down on people one after another. Puzar, number 10. And we've got SCHMIT in the lead now. We've lost Stefan EVERTS. EVERTS, uncharacteristic mistake by the Belgian. And it is ALBERTIJN from SCHMIT now. Can SCHMIT get past ALBERTIJN? ALBERTIJN, a winner of race 1. Down in the first corner in race 2. Has come through the pack like an absolute knife through butter and now leads. And there is Stefan EVERTS. Well, what can you say? He must be in an absolutely angry mood with himself. Way down the field at the moment. Paul Malin, the British rider, behind him. But this isn't going to be maximum points for Stefan EVERTS. The checkered flag then goes out for ALBERTIJN. Back-to-back 2020, that's 40 points. SCHMIT finishes second. And what a race that was for ALBERTIJN. From the back to the front. No clutch, he says. Who needs a clutch? Paul Cooper, and there's the dejected Stefan EVERTS. Round 7 came from Lommel in Belgium, in the deep sand here, and a rider parade.
Greg ALBERTIJN sat at the front of the World Championship. You really don't need to win today, do you?
Yeah, I do. It's a long way to the end of the World Championship, and there's a lot of points to be won, so going on to this first race, I'm a little bit nervous, but I got a nice, comfortable lead, so I'm just going to use my head.
So a top 3 finish in both races will suit you fine?
Well, top 1 would suit me even better, but yeah, I'll be happy with the top 3.
Well, ALBERTIJN leading the championship at the moment from Donny SCHMIT and Stefan EVERTS. Those are the top 3, and provisions made here to expand the fuel tanks on the bikes. Very deep sand, having to load extra fuel into the bikes to make the end of the race. 30 minutes plus the 2 laps in total, and it really is a power sapping circuit. It's Werner de Wit that has gone to the front. Stefan EVERTS second. Then Tom van Grinsen, 55, going through. Puzar, where's ALBERTIJN? There he is. The World Championship leader at the moment, back in about 5th. DeMaria was back behind that group. But it's EVERTS staging a challenge for the lead over de Wit. Van Grinsen goes through. As we pick them up, there's ALBERTIJN. He's up behind his teammate Marnicq BERVOETS. But look at that, Stefan EVERTS cockily looks over his shoulder to see where second place man is, and there he is. Number 7, Werner de Wit on the Johnsons, BFE Suzuki. EVERTS. And de Wit's not that too far back, not to allow EVERTS to become too complacent. ALBERTIJN is back there somewhere, but there is BERVOETS. He's 3rd at the moment. But it's going to be a first race win for Stefan EVERTS. Second, Werner de Wit, and behind him his teammate Marnicq BERVOETS, and ALBERTIJN ran out of fuel on the last lap. Belgium's 1, 2 and 3 in race 1. Here is the in-track watering system, keeping the dust down for race 2, and ALBERTIJN there, hopefully this time, with enough fuel in the bike to get him through the race. Teammate BERVOETS right beside him, NICHOLL on the inside. Who's it going to be? And it's EVERTS once again. De Wit going through. There is NICHOLL, but he's got DeMaria in front of him as we look back, and it really is a bit of a mixed match of riders. And there is BERVOETS, so it's ALBERTIJN that's up in front of him, but it's Stefan EVERTS that leads at the moment. If he wins this, it could be another back-to-back win for him, which in my recollection would make it 3 in total. And I don't think that's been done too often by many a rider. EVERTS leads. De Wit, number 7, in second at the moment. Then it's BERVOETS, so we've lost ALBERTIJN again. Obviously been off the bike somewhere. Here he is. He's back in 4th, charging to get back up somewhere near the front. And it is Stefan EVERTS, 2020, 40 points. He's done it again. The 250 Grand Prix Series comes to the United Kingdom and to Fox Hills Motor Park, round 8 of the series. And as you can see here, some track alterations going on before the start of race 1. Well, while that track maintenance was being carried out, the riders came down onto the line. It was DeMaria, the Frenchman, that led them to the line first, being the fastest in time training in the morning. The gate dropped and race 1 got underway. And it was the defending champion, the South African Greg ALBERTIJN, that went to the front.
DeMaria second, Voland, BERVOETS and NICHOLL, the British rider, round the outside of Werner de Wit and Stefan EVERTS, and Rob Herring, number 12, trailing that group. But ALBERTIJN, number 1, was at the front. DeMaria, very much a late charger in this championship. Voland on his teammate, the Pepsi-Cola Honda. Stefan EVERTS, number 2, trailing that group at the moment. But ALBERTIJN stamping his authority on race 1. He is the current champion and the championship leader. DeMaria, the Frenchman, now working under the direction of Jacques Vimond, the former French World 250 motocross champion. Marnicq, BERVOETS, number 5, and EVERTS is on the move. And there is Robbie Herring, the British rider, riding the RWJ's Kawasaki, and ALBERTIJN on the Suzuki leading race 1. The South African DeMaria finished second last year in the 125 series, transferred across to the 250s, and is looking good for a potential third place in this championship this year. ALBERTIJN at the moment, it is at the front. Really unworried about what's going on behind him. Just making sure those points come. DeMaria, very quick, this Frenchman, particularly on these dry circuits. Voland, the American, his teammate. Now Stefan EVERTS, the Belgian rider, moving up a place or two, but it's ALBERTIJN who takes 20 points from race 1. DeMaria second, EVERTS third.
Greg ALBERTIJN, you lost the championship lead last week, and you said it won't be long before you're back. One heat and you're level on points. What have you got to say?
Well, it was a good heat for me, and I shouldn't expect anything less. I am the world champion, and I got a reputation to keep.
But what a performance today. You took the lead on the first lap and you never looked back.
Well, that's it. I like this track, and with all the great support I'm having here, it's just hard not to win.
Well, with oodles of modesty oozing from Greg ALBERTIJN after race 1, and he said, well, I should be winning, I am the world champion. Heat 2 prepares to get underway. ALBERTIJN restores himself at the top of the championship. What can the Belgian Stefan EVERTS do about ALBERTIJN now? It is DeMaria, the Frenchman, that has gone to the front. NICHOLL, then it's Schmidt and ALBERTIJN, and EVERTS is behind those two. So we are in for a scrap, but the Frenchman, Yves DEMARIA, very much in the past a supercross specialist, but now under the direction of Vimond, Jacques Vimond, beginning to produce the results. NICHOLL, number 4, riding the Castrol Honda. There's ALBERTIJN, he's now 3rd. EVERTS is 4th. Then it's Schmidt and BERVOETS and Voland. But DeMaria at the moment is setting a blistering pace. There is NICHOLL, still 2nd, the British rider, the many times national champion, changing to the 250 category, and just look at that. Well, that was taking what one would describe as your marital prospects very much in hand, and ALBERTIJN got away with it, and I should think he'll be talking with a higher voice when he finishes the race. DeMaria leads. It's now ALBERTIJN for 2nd. Started racing at the age of 9, but look at Stefan EVERTS. Well, that pass that ALBERTIJN dropped on NICHOLL must have unnerved him. The concentration slipping, and NICHOLL allowing EVERTS to go through. But there ain't no catching this man. Yves DEMARIA from southern France, racing in the lead and heat 2. Then it's ALBERTIJN, and then it's Stefan EVERTS. NICHOLL 4th, 4 on the bike. He started racing 250s last year, finished 4th in the championship on his first year outing, and that's a good ride from the Britishman. But the battle is now at the front as ALBERTIJN closes on the Frenchman. Can the South African get past DeMaria before the checkered flag? Or can Stefan EVERTS do something about those two in front? DeMaria comes round, he takes the checkered, then ALBERTIJN finishes 2nd.
And this now puts Albertijn firmly in charge at the top of the championship, with Stefan EVERTS coming home behind those two in third place. Still a good ride from the Belgium.
Stefan EVERTS now very much a two-horse race, with Donny SCHMIT dropping out of the picture today.
Yeah, now it's between me and Greg. After the first motor we was halfway and we was same point, so it was like a new GP season. But
and for the public, this is what the championship needs, I think.
Yeah, I think also, you know, the last few years the championship was pretty boring, and now there was some real fight, and that's what the people want.
Round 9 of the championship came to Hollis here in the Czech Republic. Trampers Parker number 6 beside Robbie Herring, 14 Frederick Bollave, number 5 Marnicq BERVOETS, as the gate came down for the start of Heat 1. And down in mid-pack, that was Donny SCHMIT, the American. A tremendous tumble there, and very bruised and battered SCHMIT, taking no further part in race 1. But into the lead, it was DEMARIA and Voland, ALBERTIJN and EVERTS, the two Pepsi Cola Honda riders, leading this race away. The Frenchman DEMARIA setting a scorching pace for the others to chase. EVERTS back in 4, ALBERTIJN leading the championship. Then it was Bollave 14 back there in 5th. But to repeat his overall win at Britain, previously Yves DEMARIA leading, now ALBERTIJN past Voland. Voland falling into the clutches of Stefan EVERTS. BERVOETS and Parker on the KTM, with Bartolini there and Herring, the British rider, right in that group. But it was DEMARIA, a quick man on the dry tracks. Then ALBERTIJN leading the championship by 2 points over that man, number 2, Stefan EVERTS, the Belgian. And EVERTS pops a pass. A beautiful pass on the inside of Voland, moves him up to 3rd, but there was no catching that man. It's DEMARIA with this man, ALBERTIJN, chasing 2nd. EVERTS now 3rd, trying to put pace on the 2 in front. Very dry and dusty the circuit, very hot and humid here. There's Voland, the American, but DEMARIA, the Frenchman, so quick, a blistering pace at the front. The question now is, could ALBERTIJN catch him? There is the South African from Johannesburg in South Africa, from the Chartwell district. Started racing 9 years of age and a world champion in the making even at that age. The battle was on then again between Voland and EVERTS. EVERTS coming to grief, losing that 3rd place. But DEMARIA stamped his authority at the front. Nobody was going to catch him for the checkered flag. ALBERTIJN held on for the 17 points and 2nd. And it was Voland then that eventually took 3rd. EVERTS finishing 4th. So with ALBERTIJN now stretching his points advantage to 6 in the championship. Heat 2 got underway and they bustled into that first corner, and bustle indeed they did. A lot of riders down on the ground. And amongst that group, Donny SCHMIT in trouble again, number 3. It just wasn't the Americans' day. ALBERTIJN and EVERTS were the two that shot off into the lead. DEMARIA chasing in 3rd. Can EVERTS get his revenge on ALBERTIJN this time and claw back some of those points that he lost in the first race? The pace was truly electrifying. ALBERTIJN, the South African, on the Suzuki, and EVERTS trying to pass on the outside. Did he make it? Indeed he did. The JHK Silkeline rider on the Quacker going to the front, but it was the Frenchman DEMARIA back in 3rd that was hovering for that place, but it was EVERTS, the Belgian, that held on for 20 points. Followed him home the South African ALBERTIJN, and then the Frenchman, number 77, Yves DEMARIA for 3rd. Round 10 then in Sweden for the 250 Championship, and a massive crowd turning out to enjoy this electrifying racing. Motocross action at its world-class quality as the riders came down onto the line for the start of Heat 1. Talon Voland there, number 277. That's EVERTS and DEMARIA, and Voland beside him. BERVOETS in that group, and ALBERTIJN on the left-hand side. The gate dropped, and down that start straight they went, and it was Jocke Carlsson, the Swede from ALBERTIJN, SCHMIT, EVERTS. And that was Robbie Herring, the British rider. Then he's got NICHOLL, the other British rider, behind him. But Carlsson it was. Jocke Carlsson, 75, leading the championship leader at the moment. Oh, and down went Carlsson, bringing ALBERTIJN down with him. Both riders looking to be okay at the moment as the ensuing pack threaded their way through the wreckage. And the lead then was handed to the Belgian Stefan EVERTS, number 2. All ALBERTIJN could do now was to pick himself up and charge again. EVERTS leading, Herring second, then it was SCHMIT and NICHOLL. Bollet going through. There was BERVOETS, but Stefan EVERTS settling down at the front and ensuring that he would take maximum points from this first heat here in Sweden. The British rider Robbie Herring, number 12, second at the moment. Then it was the American SCHMIT, managing to stay out of trouble this time on the starts. BERVOETS, and there is ALBERTIJN, battling as always to get back up at the front and into the maximum points bracket. But at the moment it was the Belgian EVERTS that holds the advantage. He leads, he's looking at the 20 points. Herring, second on the Kawasaki, looking at 17 points if he can sustain that position. The battle certainly raised Royale for the lower placings, with ALBERTIJN now closing on SCHMIT, number 3. Then it was BERVOETS behind that group. But could ALBERTIJN get past SCHMIT before the checkered? EVERTS took the win then, and maximum points. Second for Robbie Herring, the British rider. Third for NICHOLL. And fourth for ALBERTIJN.
What were your thoughts when you went down, Greg?
I was really mad, man. I was setting Jocke up. I would have passed him within the next lap. And then he had a big crash and we were going fast and I could do nothing about it. I hit straight into him and a big crash.
And what did you think your chances was then of coming back to 4th place?
Well, I'm a fighter, you know, and I don't give up till the last lap. But yeah, I don't know. It was 4th's decent, but I'd rather win it, you know.
Race 2 got underway. Down they went. That start straight with the dust coming up. And it was Bolle who headed from Schmidt and then NICHOLL. Then it was Herring. As we look back, and there's ALBERTIJN, and not a good start for ALBERTIJN or EVERTS. They're both going to have to work very hard in this one. And ALBERTIJN worked very, very hard. Now leading race 2 here in Sweden. The South African Greg ALBERTIJN, and the battle is certainly on for second. Schmidt and Herring swapping places. NICHOLL is behind that group. There is Stefan EVERTS. He has got a lot of work to do. Just look at this. Herring going through on the inside of Schmidt. Lines up the corner. Oh, too much power. Blocks the exit for Schmidt. Gives NICHOLL a way through. So Kurt NICHOLL, the 250 Castrol Honda rider, moving up a position over Schmidt and Robbie Herring. ALBERTIJN takes the win. It's EVERTS for second, and the French youngster Bolle taking third.
You had a lot to do in that race after a poor start.
Yeah, I had to fight very hard, and in the last lap I could catch Frederick Bolle, and I push everything out of my body to catch him, and I did it, and I'm very happy. I'm very pleased with my result today.
And the overall victory, which must be a very pleasing feeling again, huh?
Yeah, I feel very good. It's my 14th in my career, and the last one was 13, so I wanted to get rid of that 13 GP victory. So now it's 14, and for sure there will come more.
Round 11, Heinola here in Finland, and the news up to us is that Stefan EVERTS, a non-starter, broke his collarbone in practice here on Wednesday, has gone straight back to Belgium to have a titanium pin inserted, and he should be racing again for the USA Grand Prix. But here in Finland, it was Marnicq BERVOETS that hit the front first from DEMARIA as the rest of the pack came screaming through, and ALBERTIJN there, not a good start for the South African. Marnicq BERVOETS then, one of ALBERTIJN's teammates, leads this one from DEMARIA. Then it's NICHOLL, and behind NICHOLL there is ALBERTIJN. Fourth, some of the pressure now off his shoulders in the championship, with EVERTS not racing here today. BERVOETS leads. Just the 1 point difference between them when they came here, or they would have come here had EVERTS been able to ride, but it's bad news for Stefan EVERTS, the Belgian. Maybe this is where ALBERTIJN can wrap the 250 World Championship up. The battle raged royale. It was BERVOETS, and then DEMARIA and NICHOLL first, second and third. ALBERTIJN finishing fifth. Well, race 2 now ready on the line, the gate drops. Here we go, heat 2 from Heinola here in Finland. What can ALBERTIJN do this time? Twice off in the first race. And he's not making the mistakes in race 2. He's in the lead. His teammate BERVOETS, then it's DEMARIA third, Schmidt and DeWitt having a little coming together. Schmidt gets the better of it, Trampus Parker behind those two, but ALBERTIJN deciding there's no messing around this time. Even though his main rival EVERTS is not here to score points today, he intends to try and notch up a maximum win. Really is a multi-talented rider. So small when he started his riding career at 9 years of age, He won the South African 80cc Championship. There's DeWitt going through one of his teammates. We're looking back behind DeWitt. There is DeMaria, and 17. That's Peter Ivan. He's having a much better race, but it's ALBERTIJN then taking the win at the 20 points, and that championship looking even more secure. Werner DeWitt taking second after his teammate BERVOETS fell. Then in third, it was 77, the Frenchman, Yves DEMARIA. There, the team manager, Sylvain Gabors, with Werner DeWitt, and the winner of race 2, the South African. Well done, he says, Greg ALBERTIJN. Round 12 of the championship came to the USA and Bud Creek. A big crowd of Americans turning out to watch some splendid and exhilarating 250cc motorcycle Grand Prix racing as the board went up for the start of Heat 1 and back number 2, Stefan EVERTS. After breaking his collarbone, back still with that titanium pin in his shoulder, and somebody goes down to the top. Somebody colliding with a cameraman at the top of the circuit. I'm not sure who that was, but I'm sure the cameraman will feel the worst of that encounter. Into the lead then, 92, this is Jeff Emig, and he's got John Dowd behind him. Then it's BERVOETS and EVERTS, so the two Americans are leading this race. There is DeMaria going through and Bartolini behind him, but it's Jeff Emig that leads the one only 250 Grand Prix race that some of these Americans do usually, and only when it comes to the United States, but it is two local heroes that head the field at the moment. Emig, Dowd is second, BERVOETS, then it is Stefan EVERTS. No signs of ALBERTIJN at the moment. There is DeMaria, the Frenchman, he's back there in fifth. Well, the question now is, can anybody get on terms with this man, Jeff Emig? A man that's established himself here in the United States as one of the top riders. As, whoa, look at that. That's Dowd closing the door on Stefan EVERTS. Certainly knew he was coming through on the inside and gave him no room at all. But it's Emig, 92, that leads at the moment. And nobody seems to be able to catch him. Down it is, under pressure from BERVOETS, and EVERTS has dropped back a place. There is DeMaria waiting for a mistake from them two in front. Checkered flag then, it should be Emig. And indeed, yes, I think it is. Jeff Emig takes the applause of the crowd. We're looking back, second place man was BERVOETS, then it was Dowd, fourth was EVERTS, fifth was DeMaria. And Stefan EVERTS here, clearly in distress, requiring moisture. It's very hot here, wants a drink desperately. Tremendous race from him, considering he hasn't ridden since Sweden where he broke his collarbone. There is the race winner, Jeff Emig. Well, race 2 got underway, but not for very long because, as you could see, a few tried to jump the start and they weren't allowed to continue. Race 2 then, full start, brought back onto the line, and they tried again. Somebody else got an absolute flyer over the gate, but he got away with it the second time. Great deal of urgency with some of these riders as Suzuki goes to the front, and it looks like ALBERTIJN. It is. Albi leads from Poland. So where is Emig and Dowd? There is Stefan EVERTS, fourth at the moment. Down the hill they come. It's so fast here. There's Boland under pressure from number 91, and that's Steve Lamson. Boland is still there. There is Everts and Albertijn. Well, he's been off the bike. He's dropped back. There's DeWitt. DeMaria now inherits the lead. Takes the checker flag. Albertijn retires with an electrical problem. Boland takes second, and Everts coming home, I think, to take third.
And then we'll bring the, if the women will step in.
Round 13 of the championship comes to Marnicq here in Venezuela. And a massive crowd turning out to enjoy the racing, and just keep an eye on the 5-second board, man. Well, he can run very fast indeed. As the race gets underway, they drift wide into that left-hander. Somebody stopping there on the first corner, but it was NICHOLL from Everts and BERVOETS, DeMaria and Albertijn, hoping that his electrical problems will not reoccur here as they did in the United States. But the top three going through at the moment. BERVOETS third, Albertijn fourth. But Everts is up there. There's DeMaria. He's back in fifth. Into the lead goes the Belgium, Stefan EVERTS. Albertijn closing in second place, and these two really started to get together because they clashed. Down went Everts, and Albertijn took over the lead. Then it was Marnicq BERVOETS, and behind BERVOETS it was DeMaria, number 77, and there's Everts back in fourth, wishing that he had not come together with Albertijn in the way that they did. But it was Albertijn that led then to the checkered flag and took the maximum points. Marnicq BERVOETS, his teammate, chased him all the way home for second place. Then it was DeMaria in third. He too came down the start straight. Everts there at the front, hoping to get the whole shot, but it was the Frenchman DeMaria that led away. DeWitt, then Everts and BERVOETS and NICHOLL. But it was DeMaria that set the pace at the front. Everts could only do but watch as DeMaria stamped his authority at the front of the race. DeWitt chased all the way round in second place. Then it was Everts, then BERVOETS, but those two were to change places before the checkered flag. There is NICHOLL. Albertijn behind Kurt NICHOLL, but NICHOLL was to finish fifth. So here it is, the checkered flag for the Frenchman, Yves DEMARIA. Second for DeWitt, third for BERVOETS. Round 14, Suzuka here in Japan, the penultimate round on the two quickest bikes there, DeMaria and NICHOLL. Dave NICHOLL there, the father of Kurt NICHOLL, a former top Scrambles champion himself in his own day, but it was DeMaria on the Pepsi-Cola Honda that led down onto the line first. And a lot of expectation around this particular meeting because it's all down to this one between ALBERTIJN and Everts, and there they are side by side on the start gate, but it looked like ALBERTIJN got the better of Everts, but it was DeWitt from Bartolini, Bolle, and there's Volan, and there's ALBERTIJN squeezed in that group on that left-hand corner, and it's ALBERTIJN that's on the floor. Greg ALBERTIJN, oh, such bad luck, strikes him on lap 1. DeMaria, Bartolini second. Volan it is third, then number 8. Well, there's Everts, number 2. Some consolation that ALBERTIJN is actually behind him at the moment with his teammate DeWitt. DeWitt moves over. We're back at the front with DeMaria, 77. Then it's Bartolini who went around the jump for some reason, but he got away with it. Then Volan, there's NICHOLL, number 4. Then it's Bolle, and a whole mixture of riders coming through. There's Everts. Stefan Everts needs to finish in front of ALBERTIJN if he wishes to keep his championship chances alive. Through the whoops comes DeMaria. Andre Bartolini chases still in second position. Volan, NICHOLL, Bolle, they are settling down. We're looking back for ALBERTIJN. Well, that looks like Everts. Indeed it is. Stefan Everts then beginning to pick his way through the field, and here comes ALBERTIJN behind him. So the two championship contenders not having a good race here in Suzuka for race 1. 77 DeMaria, 79 Bartolini. Then it's 8 Volan, 4 Kurt NICHOLL, the British rider. As a whole gaggle come through, that is Stefan Everts. Behind Everts, Schmidt back with the leaders. DeMaria takes the checkered flag. Bartolini chases him home to take second and 17 points. And third, it was NICHOLL. Heat 2, the gate drops, and away they go. And it is ALBERTIJN that's gone to the front. Can he stay there as they come around? No, indeed he can't, or he has. DeMaria on the outside, ALBERTIJN on the inside. There's Schmidt behind Everts. It really is congestion as they go over that first jump. But it's ALBERTIJN from BERVOETS, from DeMaria, Volan, NICHOLL, and Schmidt, Bartolini and Everts. And Everts has got a lot to do. He's got to get back up with ALBERTIJN. DeWitt there behind Everts. Whoa! Onto the floor. Well, that looked like Peter Ivan, number 17. But it is ALBERTIJN who leads from his teammate BERVOETS. From the Pepsi-Cola Frenchman, 77 DeMaria. NICHOLL going through. Behind him, it's Stefan Everts, and he has got a lot to do, but into the lead once again goes the Frenchman's. Yves DEMARIA, there's ALBERTIJN, now down into second. BERVOETS looking back, it is NICHOLL through the whoops in fourth. Schmidt and Everts locking it up side by side, and it's Schmidt that gets the better of the two. But it is DeMaria with a celebratory wheelie that takes Heat 2 win and a second win of the day. ALBERTIJN came home then in second. Round 15 and the final round here at Geldorf in Germany of the 250cc World Motocross Grand Prix. Number 1, Greg ALBERTIJN, a 17 points advantage over second place man in the championships, and that's Stefan EVERTS. The question now is, which one of these two will it be that walks away from Germany today, a 250cc Grand Prix Championship? Will it ALBERTIJN or will it be this man, Stefan EVERTS? Talking to the Brit, Paul Malin. There's Kurt NICHOLL, number 4, looking on as the board goes up for the start of Heat 1. Gate drops, here they go. The penultimate race of the year. Who will get the whole shot? It looks like EVERTS. It looks like the Belgian Stefan EVERTS, number 2, that has got the whole shot. EVERTS it is. We're looking back for second. That's NICHOLL. Bartolini was amongst that group. Now where is ALBERTIJN? There he goes up the hill. Not a good start for ALBERTIJN. We've got 4 on the floor. But Stefan EVERTS it is that leads Heat 1 of this final championship round. Second place, it's the Brit, Kurt NICHOLL, number 4. Then it was Voland going through. DEMARIA is there. And there is ALBERTIJN. 17 points the difference. ALBERTIJN can afford not to have to win, but he needs to finish in the top 6 at least. They come screaming through some of these off-cambered corners here. Very difficult conditions for some of the riders, but it's EVERTS making no mistake at the front. He leads Heat 1. He's looking at 20 points. Now the question is, where will ALBERTIJN finish? NICHOLL making a charge for the lead. There's Voland 3rd. DEMARIA back in 4th. They're sorting themselves out. There is ALBERTIJN. We've been looking for him. So he's back in about 7th at the moment. That could be enough. It could all go to the last race, and what a championship it will be. EVERTS leads from NICHOLL, the 250 Castrol Honda rider from Great Britain. 77, the Frenchman DEMARIA. He's won some overalls this year at the back end of the championship. Certainly is a rider to be reckoned with in 1995. ALBERTIJN, who goes to America to race in 1995. NICHOLL, his second year on the 250s. They've gone through the top runners. We're still waiting for ALBERTIJN. There he is, being urged on by the crowd. He needs effective points to ensure that that man doesn't take the championship away from him at the death. But NICHOLL dogging EVERTS all the way. Voland and DEMARIA very slippery there on that corner. You can see very shiny the surface. ALBERTIJN picks his way gently through, applies the power to the back end of the Suzuki. ALBERTIJN over the big tabletop he goes. We look the other side as the front runners come through. EVERTS and NICHOLL, 1 and 2. Nothing seems to be separating those two. Voland and DEMARIA, those are the top 4. 5, it looks like 6 at the moment for ALBERTIJN, yes indeed. So ALBERTIJN on course for his championship. It could all go to the last race. All that EVERTS could hope for is that ALBERTIJN DNFs the last race, which would effectively give EVERTS the championship on the plate. That's of course if he wins, but it's unlikely to happen. DEMARIA goes through. There's ALBERTIJN closing on DEMARIA. Stefan EVERTS, second in the championship, number 2 on the bike, looking like it's going to keep the 2 for 1995. NICHOLL, 4 on his bike. There's ALBERTIJN chasing Voland. So we've lost DEMARIA. ALBERTIJN moves up a place. Look at NICHOLL climbing all over EVERTS. He wants to take those points, and who's it going to be? It's going to be EVERTS. 20 points EVERTS, 17 for NICHOLL. And 3rd, we're looking back, and it should be ALBERTIJN. It is 15 points. So close from the man himself. Well, it's just 12 points difference. NICHOLL being consoled by his wife, Lisa, for that second place. He wanted to win.
I was a little bit tense in the beginning and not riding so smoothly, but then afterwards I got a bit smoother and started picking up my pace and was much better at the end. I think if my calculations are correct, I only need 8th place if Stefan wins, but I was feeling really good at the end, so hopefully next race I'll be right up there.
Well, Stefan EVERTS missing from the presentation with disappointment, and one can only understand his feelings. Kurt NICHOLL then second, Greg ALBERTIJN finishing third, 12 points to go into race 2 with. Well, problems for Greg ALBERTIJN. He can't find his goggles. Well, somebody's taken them as a souvenir. There's Stefan EVERTS. He's got his goggles. And disappointment written all over his face. He's really got to hope for a miracle in this last race of the year. It is the last 250 Grand Prix race of 1994. Hang on to your seats. Here they go. Gate drops. It's all on the last race. Into that first set of corners, the left-hander and the right-hander. And EVERTS has gone down. EVERTS has gone down. Looks like 82 Dietmar Lacker that's taken the lead from DeMaria. Yes, indeed, it's Lacker, DeMaria. ALBERTIJN's coming through, but EVERTS has gone down at the back. He's got to finish 4th. There he is, back on the bike. ALBERTIJN has to DNF the race, and Bollé, they're chasing. Well, there's ALBERTIJN. They're working this out very quickly. If ALBERTIJN DNFs the race and EVERTS finishes 4th, he would have won the World Championship. But the likelihood of that is very, very, well, very unlikely, I should say. Well, there is EVERTS charging through the field like a man possessed, and, well, wouldn't you be? It is DeMaria, 77, the Frenchman, that leads in the last race of the year. There is ALBERTIJN. Well, he's up in the points. Schmidt and, well, that was NICHOLL. BERVOETS is there as well, 5. And Kurt NICHOLL, finishing second in race 2, is up there in a good position. And here comes EVERTS. Well, he's got more than a mountain to climb. That's Parker behind him, DeWitt also in that group. But it is the Frenchman who excels as always on the hard tracks. Yves DEMARIA, 77 on the Pepsi-Cola Honda, that leads the last 250 race of the year. Bollé is second, number 14, another Frenchman. Then it's the Brit, Kurt NICHOLL. Then it's ALBERTIJN 4th, so NICHOLL looking on for a good finish. There's Schmidt, who could well be retiring at the end of this race. He's got Parker behind him, and just look at this. That's Paul Cooper, the South African 39. He's got Stefan EVERTS right behind him. EVERTS has got to get to 4th. And Stefan EVERTS on the inside of number 9, but it looks like DeMaria that holds the lead. The Frenchman is out there and looking at 20 points. NICHOLL is second. Kurt NICHOLL on the 1995 bike is second from Bollé. But it's this man, DeMaria, that has the 20 points in sight. Now NICHOLL, number 4. Bollé, the Frenchman, number 14 behind him. 81, that is Bert Eckenbach. 21, Paul Malin. Here comes Stefan EVERTS. Well, who would want to have to climb this kind of mountain to stand any chance of winning the World Championship? This is the second year in succession that he's been so close and things have gone wrong for him. DeMaria then takes the win from NICHOLL. Bollé is third, BERVOETS, and we've got a battle on here between EVERTS and ALBERTIJN, and EVERTS trying to push Albie a little wide, but it's going to be EVERTS that will take 6th. ALBERTIJN takes 7th, but does it really matter? Because he is, once again, the world 250cc motocross champion. the South African Greg ALBERTIJN, racing in America for 1995. The cheers, the jubilations and the celebrations can now commence because he is once again the champion. Who needs the goggles now? Former 125cc and 250cc champion, the American Donny SCHMIT collects the checkered flag. He retires.
You know, I'm a fighter, and I always believe everything. I'll give everything I got to what I believe in, and I believed I could be champion, and I gave it all I got this year. And the team's been fantastic, and I did it for them.